Sitaraman has now hit out at Ramachandra Guha. She has reminded him about Gujarat's history, saying that in 1939, when Philip Spratt was calling Gujaratis culturally backward, Maharaja Jam Sahib Jadeja was saving Polish children. This is Gujarat's culture. Well, there you have it. Big breaking news which is coming in. The finance minister herself has taken on to hit back at Ramachandra Guha. This after, remember, even the chief minister of Gujarat had attacked him. Meanwhile, Ramachandra Guha has again brazened it out. He attacks Nirmala Sitharaman as well as Chief Minister Vijay Rupani, saying that both of them are obsessing about a humdrum historian's tweet. Well, that's what he said. He said, I thought it was only the Gujarat Chief Minister, but now it seems even the finance minister is obsessing about a humdrum historian's tweet. The economy is surely in safe hands. He's taking a snipe now at the finance minister as well as the chief minister. Let me go across to Vivek Narayan, who's joining us on the big screen, our executive editor. Vivek, it seems that Ramachandra Guha is not a man, as we all know, to give up easily.
Well, at 8:11 a.m. exactly, Ramachandra Guha's one tweet set the Twitterati on fire. Let's see what happened. The first tweet that he came out was, as I said, 8:05, and it says, Gujarat, though economically advanced, is culturally a backward province. Bengal, in contrast, is an economically backward but culturally advanced. Well, he's quoting Philip Spratt, written in 1939. Well, immediately after that, the Bharatiya Janata Party went on to it. Senior leader, party leader B.L. Santosh went ahead and said, sports writer turned historian, self-proclaimed, Ramachandra Guha terms Gujaratis as non-intellectuals and Bengalis as intellectuals. Everyone knows that his definition of intellectualism is breaking India. Now Gujaratis are happy and Bengalis are angry about him. Well, Ramachandra Guha again came back. What did he say? If the Gujarat Chief Minister is, at this moment in history, A, so keenly following the tweets of a humdrum historian, and B, so easily confusing the historian with a dead writer being quoted, the state of Gujarat must indeed be in safe hands. Well, that's a major dig that he had at the Gujarat government and perhaps the way that the COVID outbreak has been handled by the Gujarat government. Well, to which you had a situation where the finance minister of the country, Nirmala Sitharaman, tweeted, in 1939, when Philip Spratt from Britain belonging to the Communist International wrote, this is what was happening in Gujarat. Jamnagar Maharaja Jam Sahib Digvijay Singh Ji Jadeja saved more than 1,000 Polish children. The culture of Ahmedabad, that's what she's speaking. She's speaking of an incident where more than a shipload of children, Jewish children actually came on to the coast of Gujarat, and it was Jam Sahib of Baroda who led them in. Well, Ramachandra Guha again took on the finance minister, saying, I thought it was only the Gujarat chief minister, but now it seems even the finance minister is obsessing about the humdrum historian's tweets. The economy is surely in safe hands. So it doesn't show any end of any signs of ending now.
Right. Oh, very interesting. Thank you so much, Vivek, for getting us that entire long thread of retorts as well as reverts which are coming in back and forth. Meanwhile, let's get you another reaction which is coming in. We went across to Congress's Abhishek Manu Singh. He was asked whether he going to stand by the historian or will he condemn it. Congress refuses to condemn the statements coming in from Ramachandra Guha. In fact, Abhishek Manu Singh says, ask the author and not our party.
Different people in this country say different things. I do not feel the need to at all comment, much less endorse or reject anything. This is their view. You have to certainly ask them, not us. There is no question of the Congress adopting it remotely, agreeing with it, commenting upon it also. I don't want to be drawn in a controversy which has nothing to do with the Congress as such. You must ask them, and I'm sure there will be very, very clear views across the country of different people.
Meanwhile, more breaking news. Congress won't take a stand. However, BJP does. It has condemned the Lutyens' divide and rule ploy. Listen in.
The way he expressed his views, he is just trying to divide the country on regional lines, on the lines of culture. One should not play a dirty politics to divide the states on culture. Every Indian has a rich culture, whether Gujaratis, whether Bengalis, whether they are Tamil, Keralais, Jammu Kashmiris, Dogras, Punjabis, Rajasthanis, every Indians are respected Indians, and every culture in India is great culture, and we must respect each and every Indian, and we must respect each ethos of Indian cultures across the country.
Well, let me go across to Megha Prasad, our senior editor, also joining us. Megha, it's not just about this one tweet where he pits Gujarat versus Bengal, but the BJP is alleging that there's a larger plot underfoot, and this one is to divide India.
Well, I think it was quite apparent when Mr. Rupani, the Chief Minister of Gujarat, sort of instantly responded to Ram Guha's tweet, and with the message that, Bengal is great and so is Gujarat, and India stands united. You could actually sort of understand the import that the BJP got out of this tweet, which many people are calling quite offensive in nature, given that there was a zero context of it, no reason, no background as to why Ramchandra Guha, a historian, would want to put out a tweet of this nature, quoting a man who wrote something like this almost 90 years back. Now, having said that, Meghna, the response to this tweet after Mr. Rupani, you had the Finance Minister, Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman, also sort of take on Ram Guha, and it looks like the historian has been, given a lesson or two in history when she has now, of course, quoted an article of the Ahmedabad Mirror, an article that talks about, how the Jamnagar king had helped some 1,000 Polish children stay for good 4 years and longer at a time when Poland was under attack, and ensured that they grew up, the time that they spent in India and Gujarat, they grew up with their cultural heritage. And so much, so much when you talk about the culture of Gujarat and call it culturally backward, of course there is a pushback coming in from the BJP, and it is quite expected because, Mr. Ramchandra Guha, of course, very, very famous historian in India, but now has been known to be extremely bitter critic of the Modi government, and many people are saying that this was an attempt from his side to try and attack the government at the centre via Gujarat.
Well, do stay on with us, Megha. In fact, let's get our viewers some other reactions. There are those who are saying it's unfair to divide and try and divide any two parts of India and draw a wedge between them. There are others who go to the extent of saying nothing short of an apology from Ramchandra Guha will suffice.
Because you see, while comparing state-wise or with scattered views of advancement or backwardness of a particular state, in comparison to another state, is not going to take us anywhere near having a correct position of Indian economy or Indian cultural status.
Gujarat, Bengal, and every other state in the country, they are flowers of a bouquet called India. Bengal has given lot, right from Raja Ram Mohan Roy to, Shyam Prasad Mukherjee and to Rabindranath Tagore, and several people have come even in writing also. It has its role. But similarly, Gujarat. I mean, you have Mahatma Gandhi, you have Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. So to compare two states of the country and put one above the other, I think would be very inappropriate and very unfair.
Professor Ramchandra Guha's statement calling Gujarat culturally backward state is unfortunate. A lot of us have a lot of respect for him and his erudition, but this shows a very poor scholarly attitude, and I hope he apologizes for it and takes it back. I'm not saying this because I'm a Gujarati. I'm saying this because such statements are regressive and not in the line of scholarly debate.
Well, let me go back across to Megha Prasad. Megha, it's not just Ramchandra Guha, but it's also people like Ajay Shukla. Several others like Teesta Setalvad as well keep taking these pot shots at the government in the midst of a pandemic, in the midst of an economic crisis that we are facing. Many are asking, have they really crossed the line?
Well, at the end of the day, Meghna, you know, India is a democratic country. You have the freedom of speech. You know, it's a free country. You can say what you want to. But yes, one must sort of understand, keep in mind the situation that we are in and understand at what time you're putting what out. Like people are asking this question now on the back of what Ram Guha has written, the context of it, calling it inappropriate, calling the timing bad, and of course asking the reason why. And you are right when you say that it's not only Ram Guha, there are many, there's several who are part of this group who would, you know, at the choosing of their own time want to attack the government. But what I find extremely peculiar, Meghna, and I think it's important for us to point out also, is the sort of, you know, retraction that has happened or has come from the side of Mr. Ram Guha when he says this, that statutory warning, and this he's posted 2 hours back after, of course, there was a backlash and a major one on Twitter. Right. And he writes, statutory warning, when I post quotes by others found in the course of my research, I do so because I find them arresting in some way. I may or may not endorse in part or in whole what I'm quoting. Reserve your praise or your anger for the ghost of the person being quoted. So then if you do not endorse it and you're not even coming out clearly to say whether you endorse or you don't endorse, then why do you put something like that out on Twitter only to perhaps create a controversy?
Well, perhaps also because he is well aware about the fact that Spratt has also had an ideological change of heart where he went from being communist to a Democrat later on in his life. But thank you so much, Megha Prasad, for putting all of that into perspective. With that,